Hello again guys and welcome back to another Big Al Devlin video here at the House of Devlin. And today is the very first technical video that I will be showing you on my own interpretation and modification of the art of bartitsu. So I'm self-teaching myself this particular martial art, but as I say, what I'm doing is I'm adapting it to my own body type, and I'm adapting it to what I think is more applicable to a modern day sort of street situation, so we say. Now, obviously, these videos and the intention behind these videos is for people to learn self-defense. And self-defense is literally that, it's defense. You do not ever use any of these techniques or these striking methods or anything I show you as the aggressor. You never go out there to harm someone, and you never go out there specifically looking to hurt anyone or to attack someone or to mug anyone using these techniques. These techniques are purely there for you to learn so that you can defend yourself when you have to defend yourself. Hopefully you can avoid most dangerous situations, and I'll be saying this at the beginning of every video. Hopefully you'll be able to avoid most dangerous situations, but if you find yourself cornered with no other options where you're going to get seriously harmed unless you do something, then that's the time to act, okay? But otherwise you get out of there. You avoid the situation as best as you physically possibly can. Okay, that's really all I've got to say about it, and I think that's common sense. So today, what I'm going to be showing you are the basic light strikes that you can perform with a walking stick or walking cane. Okay, now they may be called light strikes, but they are quite heavy when done correctly. They would really hurt someone. And so guys, just be aware of the fact that, as I say, when you are doing self-defense, if you are ever attacked, always make sure you use the minimum force possible. I.e., if one of these strikes is all it takes to get your opponent to either disabled on the ground or to make them run, that's all you do. You don't keep hitting them when they're on the ground like this and all the rest of it. You do the minimum that you can, and when it's safe to do so, when you've disabled them or they've run away, you ring the police, and if needs be, you ring the emergency services, so the paramedic and the ambulance and that, to get them medical attention if they need it. Okay, and you ring the police, as I say, to hopefully get them arrested and report the situation. At the end of the day, you are defending yourself, so you should be safe. But as I say, don't go psychopathic with it, guys, because that's over the top and you will get in trouble. Okay, these are my warnings now. Okay, you will get in trouble if you hurt someone on purpose or because you've just gone over the top. Okay, so the first thing is to imagine your starting position. Now, most of the time, when you're starting, you'll be using your walking stick as it's intended for, which is as a walking aid. So you'll be using it as I'm using it now, sort of as you walk, you'll be keeping it to your side. Now, that means the crook, which is the shepherd's hook essentially, at the top of the stick will be facing backwards like this, okay? But what happens is when you're suddenly put into a threatening situation and you need to strike, what you do is you simply slide the hand down like that, so you've got the stick in such a position. Okay, so I'll show you from the side on profile. I'm going to get a little bit closer. So this is your walking position, and then all you do is just slide down and take it like this. Okay, this is very important as you're starting action. Okay, no matter what you do afterwards, whether it's a thrusting attack or a swiping attack or anything along these lines, it doesn't matter. The first thing you must do is get your hand into position, and it's such a quick and easy thing to do. They wouldn't even notice you're doing it. Okay, and so you're into the position immediately. However, the reason why it's so important to do that is, one, not only does it get you into an attack position or defense position, whatever you want to call it, as quickly as possible, but it also makes sure that you get into the optimum position. Because if your crook is the other way around, okay, and pointing towards your hand, you'll see what happens when you try to strike. The crook actually hits your arm. Now, anyone who has done any form of HEMA training prior to this, or fencing, because I used to do fencing myself with the epee and the foil, will know, of course, that any kind of sword fighting technique, if you regard this almost like a sword in this case, the power from the sword strike comes not from the arms or the shoulders or anything like this, as I will show you. Okay, if I was to strike just with my arm, okay, that's as hard and as fast as I can go. Okay, that's with all my power. Okay, but if I was to just use my wrist and my wrist alone, bang, you can see how much faster, and you can probably hear the okay. And if I put it all together, my arm, my shoulder strength, and my wrist, it's bang. It's so much quicker and faster and harder. Okay. Now this is a light strike, okay, that I'm showing you. And as you can imagine, that's not a particularly light strike. That's going to hurt, as I say, someone a lot when you do it. Now, you've got to go and do it, but as I say, if it's enough to strike them once, you only strike them once. You don't strike them a second time. But if you have to hit them more, you have to hit them more, as I say, to make it until the point where you are safe. So you immediately go into your start position, as I say, by shifting your hand down the cane, getting into a strike position. You want the cane roughly around here, and basically the way I'm positioned, or you could even keep it a little bit further back, but around about here, is with my hand forwards. Okay, this is what I've introduced for my own martial arts, in your boxing stance almost. So you've got, if you're right-handed, you always lead with your left leg and have your strong leg at the back. Okay, so your right leg at the back. If I was left-handed, it would be like that. Okay, but I'm right-handed, so I'm like this. Okay, and what you can do is with your left hand, before it's necessary, as they come in, you can just push them away, bang, to keep the distance, bang, until you go, mate, keep away, otherwise I'm going to hit you. Okay, sorry, it's on the floor. Okay, mate, keep away, bang, I'm going to hit you, I'm warning you, you're giving them plenty of warning, then you, at least you've given them a warning. At the end of the day, you give them the benefit of the doubt. If they see you raise your stick, hopefully they've got sense enough to go, all right, mate, it's okay, I didn't mean it, and they run off. But if they don't, and they don't take the hint of you pushing them back, if you're able to do that. If you're not able to do that, don't worry, just go straight into the strike. But give them a verbal warning if you can, just to just give them that initial warning. But if they don't, what you do then is you just raise up a little bit, or you can start in that raised position if you want. And the reason you keep the cane back, because some people might think, oh, keep the cane forwards like that. Oh, keep away, keep away, keep away. One, as you can see, there's no power. Two, they can just grab the shaft and pull it out, okay? And the last thing you want is to be disarmed. Because if you are disarmed of this weapon, well, not this weapon, of your walking aid, they will turn it into a weapon and they will use it on you. To you, it's a self-defense, but it's a walking aid, and then it will become a self-defense tool if you have to defend yourself. But to them, they just see a weapon. They will take it and they will hit you with it. And in a night you, they're not going to be sensible. They're not going to just hit you once. And if that's all that's required, hit you once, take your wallet and run off. They will get bloodlust and they will hit you and hit you and hit you until they break the stick or they break you. Okay, so a warning. This is why I always say avoid a fight if possible. One, because you can get in trouble with the police, even though you might be innocent. You're simply defending yourself. But secondly, most importantly, it's because you are risking your health and life every time you get involved in any form of conflict. Avoid the situation. It's always the best answer, to avoid the situation. But as I say, if you find yourself in a position where you have to, then the best thing is to know is how to do it properly. Because that way you'll be quicker and more efficient. You can protect your own health and do, as I say, the minimum damage that you have to them. You know what hurts, and you know to avoid the really dangerous strikes unless it's really necessary. Okay, but this is the least dangerous strike essentially, or ultimately that you can do with a cane. And as I say, that is, you keep your cane as far back as possible, with your hand out to stop them disarming you, okay? But as they come in, all you do is just use your wrist, bang, like that. And essentially what you're aiming for, you could aim for the ribs if you just go straight across, okay? You aim for the ribs, bang, like that. Or you could aim for the leg. If they've got their leg forwards, if they're, say, a bit like a boxer like that, they've got their leg forwards, hell, why not? Bang, straight for the knee, okay? And bang, if you go like that, straight to the knee, that's going to hurt them a lot. And it's going to basically put them onto the ground, okay? Most likely. Can't see most people shrugging that off, okay? However, if they do, that is how you should end your strike. See how I'm in that sort of end strike position. So you go from here to here. I've slowed it down a bit just to show you. Okay, if I speed it up, like that, you're in this position here. Okay, so you're now actually in reverse guard almost, because what I do when I take this strike, to add a little bit more oomph, I actually take a step forwards. That puts your body weight into the strike. So it turns the light strike into, well, you can do a light strike like that, but then you're kind of off balance. Okay, that's officially how you're supposed to do it. Now, in a real fight, you want to take a step forwards, closing the distance, okay, as you hit them. Okay, and you'll be in this reverse guard, and you've got perfect balance then. If you do it how the martial art teaches you how to do it, where you go like that, I'm really off balance. All they have to do is kick me with a punch, and I'm over. Okay, I'm over that way. Okay, so always make sure, bang, you take a step forwards, regardless of whether you're going for the ribs or whether you're going for the knee. Now, once you're in this position, that's a fairly defensive position because one, you're using the stick to protect your arm that's behind it, but you're bracing the stick with your arm as well to take it if they kind of rugby tackle you into it. You've got something kind of sturdy behind the stick to push them away. But also if they've got a knife, bear in mind you're in this position and you've hit them, but then they try to stab you, you can always deflect, okay, like this. You can always deflect, okay? But hopefully your first strike will have been enough, but if it's only been enough to just kind of like, ooh, you know, disorientate them and you need to finish them off, you then take a step back into this position, into your previous position. You simply return to the position, but as you do, kind of go up. I find the upward motion is best, and you'll be aiming for their chin at this point, which should be exposed, because hopefully you've exposed their guard by hitting them into the ribs. They go like that. Basically what you do is you hit them in the ribs, they go, ooh, like that, and then you just come up and hit them in the chin as they're down. But again, if you find that their legs, again, exposed, bang, you can go to the bottom, or you can just do a simple side strike to the ribs. So what I'm going to show you is a double strike to the ribs, okay? So you go like that, okay? Okay? And that is your first real sort of learning about striking. If you can just do that, okay, then really that is all you need to be able to do to start off with. Of course, then when you're back in this position, you could, as I say, repeat it, but it's nice to vary it up, because in a fight, if you have to, if that hasn't finished them, you can do other strikes, which we'll learn in our second video, where you might come in with an overhead strike, for example, or you might use a two-handed strike, or you might come in with a thrust. So when you've gone 1, 2, you end up in a thrusting position. So when they come in, bang, you thrust at them, bang, bang, bang. But we'll do that in another video. So I hope you enjoyed it for today. I hope you learnt how you're not as vulnerable as you may think if you are dependent on a walking stick as I am. I hope that really shows you that actually this is a lot, is a very good defensive tool if people force you to use it as such. Thank you guys, see you soon.